this takes place in Fairfax, Vermont, which is a part of Franklin County. And my family had just moved there in 1999. And in my memory, it seems like it was that late fall, early winter of that year. It could have been the following year. I can't really remember. But we moved into a beautiful home in the woods. And me and my two of my younger siblings decided that we were going to go for a walk. And our house was built in an old sugar bush, and we had a sugar bush road that went way out into the woods, and so this is where people would have taken trucks to go sugaring to make maple syrup. And we would often go up there. We were allowed to have free reign of the woods. It was wonderful. um, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this would have probably been in a hunting season, or it doesn't seem like that makes sense. Actually, it seems like it was probably late enough in the season that hunting season would have been over, because I don't think we would have just gone out there um, during hunting season. But it was cold, it was crisp, and we went for a walk up to this rock that we all thought looked like the big turtle from the Never Ending Story. It was this giant rock that we called Morla the Ancient One.
Love it.
And so we went out we went out to Morla, and it was weird because without ever talking about it, we all stopped at the rock, even though the road kept going and we could have kept walking it. The entire time that we lived there, we never went past Morla the rock. And this day was no different. We walked up to the rock and we were horsing around and playing, and um, all of a sudden it felt like the air changed or the sound changed. In my memory, it seems like if there were any noises in the woods, like birds chirping or just, I don't know, any ambient noise, it just seemed like there was like a vacuum all of a sudden. It got really quiet. Um, and all of us kids got quiet, and my younger sister points and she's like, "Do you see that?" And I looked and I couldn't see anything. And she was like, "No, look over there by that tree." And I'm not seeing anything. And she keeps insisting to us that she does see something. And our younger brother is starting to get annoyed because he thinks we're picking on him. And he's starting to get scared that we're seeing something that he's not. And he's starting to get very annoyed with us. Like, come on, guys, this isn't, there's nothing out there. Stop trying to scare me. And Liz, my sister Liz, sees something. I don't see anything. But then all of a sudden, I'm noticing like lights just kind of materializing. It reminded me of little Christmas lights. And actually, when I first saw the show Stranger Things, when they're in the upside down and there's all of like the floating
Yeah, like the dust
ash or
stuff.
snow in the air.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that reminded me of what I saw in the woods that time. That's sort of how the lights looked. They were almost like in a suspension,
Hmm.
and
Did
they
it
were
seem
teeny.
like time was freezing too?
Maybe only because we were scared. Or speaking for myself, maybe it was because I was starting to get that fight or flight feeling. And I've had that before in other instances. And time does seem to stand still when your adrenaline's starting to go and you're
Mhm.
like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. So she's pointing and she's insisting, like she's almost getting mad. Like, you don't see that? There's a little guy behind the tree. Again, I'm not seeing anything, but I'm starting to see these lights floating floating around in the air, and the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. And I'm actually to this day not really sure if they also saw the lights or if it was just me. But she insisted that she saw a little person standing by a tree, and he was a little brown guy. She kept saying it was a little brown guy. I didn't see him as like a full apparition, but I saw what looked like an outline of a little humanoid being peeking out at us from behind the tree. It was almost like I was um, seeing an image without that hadn't been colored in yet. It was just like a hologram almost, and these lights. And I just, this dread took over me, this panic, and I was like, we got to go. and we start running back for the house. My little brother is furious. He still, I don't think, saw anything and thought that we were just messing with him. But we just took off. It was like a stranger danger kind of feeling, if I remember correctly. Like, I don't know. Before I actually saw something, and my sister was saying that she saw something, I remember being afraid that there was a person in the woods with us, which to me is exponentially more scary than seeing like a ghost or an alien or a fairy for some reason. Like if there had been a person that suddenly appeared, it would have scared me a lot more. And I think that's what I was thinking she was seeing at first. And it turns out it was a little creature. And yeah, that was pretty much it. We ran home and we were panicked, and little brother still was like, I hate you guys. Why do you do this to me? And we're like,